are celebrating the 25th anniversary of one of Green Day's most pioneering band albums in general, Nimrod from 1997. Is that correct, Kyle?
Yep.
So this was Kyle's pick. I'm gonna let him go first. But so Kyle, 25 years of Nimrod. Are you happy with it? Did you like the deluxe edition? Because I know you got the deluxe edition. What do you got? What are your overall impressions? What do you got?
Yeah, so I mean, Nimrod's one of my favorite albums of all time. We briefly discussed it when JT, me and you did our career breakdown of Green Day. That was probably almost a year ago, maybe a little more than that. Quite a while ago, before Mike joined us.
Yeah.
So
Pre-Mike.
Yeah. So 25 years, it still holds up incredibly well. It still sounds fresh. I always argue that this is the most experimental album by the band, for many reasons, which we'll get into when we talk about specific songs. But as a whole, it's always been one of my top Green Day records. For the longest time, it was top 3. I would say it still goes in and out of top 3, but it's always been a top 5. Very close to top 3, if anything. And I never get sick of this. I can hear every song over and over. It always stays fresh every time. It's a record that I don't just pick certain songs to go back to. I always go back to the entire record. And the deluxe edition, I'll get into it more specifically when we discuss track lists and things like that. But the demos were such a great way to get like a peek into the writing process of this album, which had a notorious difficult time with lyrics. It's the only album that Billy Joe went in to the recording studio with no lyrics written. And he said, no, never again will he do that. And some of the demos, you can definitely see that process. Most of the demos that are songs that we had already heard on this, the first verse is just repeated as the second verse. So you can kind of tell, he didn't have much to go on. And then some of the tracks have completely different lyrics. Some were altered to be future songs. It's a great peek into that. I love the cover of Allison by Elvis Costello. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. So I love to finally get a Green Day version of that. Known it's been floating out there for a little while now. And then, the live set was excellent. It really captured the energy of the band. They're always been my top live band of all time. I could see them as many times. They could play the same set list every time I see them, and it's always fun. It's always a good time. And the live set was also recorded on my second birthday. Fun fact there. But this is a record I'll always go back to. I never get tired of it. It's top tier Green Day. Really firing on all cylinders creatively, in terms of musicianship, songwriting wise, top tier. Excellent record.
Awesome. Yeah. And for those who don't know, Kyle is the Green Day guy. No one else comes close to Green Day than him. He is the insider scoop guy as well.
Kyle, you should have had some effect on your video where you're actually green. That would have been a kind of
oh god, yeah, you're right. Missed opportunity here.
You've done the cow. Well, now you need to have the Hulk. You need to Hulk out. When you talk about Green Day, you go into Hulk mode. That'd be legit.
Straight up, that'd be pretty cool. I'm actually, I'll go next. I'll share my opinion of the album and whatnot, and on the 25th anniversary box set too. Now, mind you, I don't have the box set. I did not order it. I know I didn't order it, but I did listen to it as well. I didn't know that they were. I shouldn't say I didn't know that. I should say it like this. This is definitely a great album from start to finish, as far as just in general. And then going into the late 90s, coming off of Insomniac, coming off of that and going into a more experimental territory for them. I thought, it's a brilliant move in general. The acoustic ballad "Good Riddance, Time of Your Life" is in my top 25 favorite songs of all time, for more reasons than one. But it is definitely that single alone, plus a lot of the experimentation on songs like "Hitchin' a Ride" or "King for a Day." This is an album that really should stand out to more people than it does. I feel in my opinion, don't get me wrong, it does, but I feel if you're looking for a Green Day record to get into more than just Dookie or American Idiot, I would actually say, or even 21st Century Breakdown. I know that's your favorite album of all time, Kyle. But I will say that I would say if you want to go into like pre-American Idiot Green Day, I say Dookie and then Nimrod. Truthfully, I feel like that's the best way to go. If I were to recommend to someone, hey, you listen to Green Day, I'm looking to get into Green Day. What albums can you recommend? I'd say Dookie, then Nimrod, then go into their 2000s stuff and up. You know what I mean? That's just me though. But I didn't know that when we first said we were going to do this, I didn't realize that the Allison cover of was Elvis Costello. I didn't realize that at all until we did that. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yep, he's actually played it a few years. No, God, not a few years back, but around between American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown, somewhere around that. I don't remember the exact year. He actually played it live with Elvis Costello, and it's one of his best vocal live performances. One of my favorites.
I didn't know that. This is why we have Kyle here. But for all these random amazing Green Day facts. But yeah, so I had no idea they were doing a cover of that. The other outtakes, like the demos that you mentioned, were actually really, I mean, it really definitely showed like where they were going, where they were trying to go with their experimentation of stuff on this record. And yeah, I mean, it's just a stone cold classic Green Day record. And the fact that it's 25 years old makes me feel old too, which is crazy. But I know I turned 25 later this year, which is frightening to me as well.
So the album's older than you.
The album is older than JT.
Yes, that should tell you something.
Well,
yeah,
try like going to the bus stop with your Walkman, playing cassette tapes like I was doing, feeling really badass, listening to like Metallica's Master of Puppets or REM or
on cassette, mind you, on cassette.
Yeah.
For those of you kids are like, what's a cassette? Shame on you. But yeah, so just stone cold classic record. Definitely one of their best albums for sure. I have no doubt about that as well. And jump over to Mike. Mike, what do you got going into Green Day's Nimrod?
So I have a kind of strange relationship with Green Day, just to kind of give my back story for them. My sister was one of the biggest Green Day fans. She slept with sorry, Christy, I'm going to air out your dirty laundry. She slept with a picture of the bassist laminated so she didn't drool all over it, and literally was in love with that band, all of their styles.
That's just normal for a Green Day fan, Mike. Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
We've all done it.
Thought I was leading to slept with a band member. No, slept with a picture of the band member. So I obviously saw the videos growing up, and like kind of through her became a fan of them. Not a super fan, not even an amazing fan, but a fan of the attitude and the look and some of the songs catchiness to them. So I kind of only have a relationship with maybe 3 of the albums, maybe 4. What was the one previous to this? Is it Insomniac?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was the last album I listened to. I never listened to this album. I never listened to any of the previous after material unless Kyle gave it to me as a exchange of album review. Pretty much going into this, I was completely blind, obviously, other than Good Riddance. Was that Good Riddance, Time of Your Life? I don't know. That would,
yeah.
I call it both. So, so my unfortunate kind of angle that I come at with an album like this is I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the sound that Green Day brings with their songs on the random. I tend to be one of those people that like the hits and the songs that were like the ones that made it through to the mainstream. If you were to play 4 kind of very Green Day-esque type of songs in a row from all 4 different albums, but none of them were like major songs, like they were just the fan favorites, and then you were to play 4 songs that were major hits and that were actually on a mainstream kind of market, we're all relatively well known. I think the only thing that would keep me interested in the songs would be the songs that I feel like the hooks and the choruses were interesting enough to go alongside the typical Green Day sound that you hear. So so the style is not technically something that I'm majorly on, but there's interesting things to pull out here and there, and I'll go over that more when I give my rating and breakdown of the tracks. But yeah, it definitely pick and choose like little. It was a very buffet album for me. I pick here, I see this, oh, that's cool. I like what they're doing here. You know, and you can find those kinds of interesting little aspects.